This idea that everybody needs to get into real estate because 401ks are a scam is such bullshit. Hit your beeper button. It really pisses me off because they don't understand basic math. We are reacting to bad retirement advice on Reddit. Yay.
Isn't this where you get what you pay for?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So let's react. All right. Biggest fraud in U.S. history, 401k getting robbed.
It appears the self-inflicted economic fall is intentionally designed with sinister thoughts, and a biggest fraud in U.S. history is underway, where there's enormous amount of wealth transfer taking place. Majority of common people who save their lifelong earnings in 401k is plummeting, and the top 5% ultra-rich sitting on top with swath of cash piles is waiting to buy at lowest price, transferring hundreds of billions of accumulated wealth from working class to their portfolio. Thoughts?
You know, the ultra-rich don't use 401k plans
Ultra-rich
much.
don't use 401k plans.
Not for themselves, and they don't get...
alternative investments. There's, okay...
It's not a slush fund for the rich people to take money from.
I don't know why this... It's funny is that the 401k is getting robbed. It's not that the 401k is robbing people. Now we can have this is not the right podcast for talking about the ultra rich sitting on piles of cash and all that other stuff. This is supposed to be a podcast about 401k plans. And I'm trying, because people's 401k accounts are tied directly to what's going on in the market, not the economy. All right. Now we're not going to have a conversation about the economy. We're going to have a conversation about the market. Okay. And my understanding is all the indexes this year are up record percents. Okay. We have quite a number of cash balance plans. Yes, I know those are different than 401k, but this relates. Okay. We've got quite a number of cash balance plans that are invested very modestly, very conservatively, but they're at the point of being overfunded because the market's up so much this year, okay? So I'm not sure where this person is thinking that they're transferring wealth from the lowest parts of the economy to the highest parts of the economy inside a 401k plan. Katherine, can you try to piece something together here?
So I would say that robbing people in 401k plans is one of the harder ways to do it.
Yes.
I'd say that there's more laws and more watchdogs. A lot of it is, if it actually does happen, it's because somebody's not paying attention, like they're not sending money to the right place. The actual outright frauds are actually kind of small. But I mean, there was the savings and loan crisis, wasn't that pretty big? Yeah. So this just sounds like somebody's cranky that everything's scary and hard and the rich people are getting a lot of money. And I would say, yeah, but that's not the 401k.
Right. All right, the second one, 401ks are a scam.
They sneak in hidden fees of 1 to 3% of the amount you have in there, regardless of whether or not their fund was profitable. I'm an employer, and we offer a 401k plan because it's something applicants look for.
Okay.
But in 2018, although the fund was profitable, our employees as a whole made less than our 401k provider from fees. The less you have in there as a company, the higher the fees. We're a smaller company, and so we're closer to that 3% range. It feels near criminal to take 3% of the people's savings just so your automated investing software can pick mutual funds. Don't fall for the 401k scam. I would advise everyone to just set up their own retirement account at a place like Vanguard and get fees of pennies compared to 401ks through their employer.
Now, the one interesting thing about this is this was posted in 2019. Okay. A lot has happened to the market. I don't mean the stock market. A lot has happened in terms of pricing and funds and the fee compression and a whole bunch of other things compared to here. The thing is, it said the smaller you are, the less you have in there as a company, the higher the fees. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Okay, if you have a $50,000 account with 401k plan with one of the big insurance-based platforms, you might be paying 2.5 percentage points in fees. Okay, but what's 2.5 percentage points of $50,000? That's like $1,100.
So the flat dollar amount is
So-
relatively small.
Well, no, it's not. No, don't say flat dollar amount. The dollar amount is very small. Okay. The thing is, but it's going to cost that company a lot more than $1,000 to set up the plan and keep it going. All right. So they're going to have a higher percentage for a number of years to get the money back that they lost. Now then, and that percent's going to stay there for a while, but of course you can always shop around and get something different. Now, what Katherine talked about is there are some record keepers out there that do not look very good for a $50,000 startup 401k plan, because you're looking at about $3,500 in flat dollar costs. Okay, $3,500. Whether it's $50,000, $75,000, or $300,000, you're going to have that same amount. So you can look for different alternatives like that, where the employer is paying a larger flat dollar amount, and the employees, if an employer can pay for the record keeping as a flat dollar, they can pay for the investment education as a flat dollar, and you can end up with nothing but index funds on your plan, paying less than 10 basis points. Okay, if your employer is willing to pay for that flat dollar cost. And with today's new plan tax credits, that's not so bad for an employer. Katherine?
You should pay attention to fees, and you should any place you do money, right? But know that you can't have companies do something for you for free. So the question is, what are they doing to make things work? Like you, quote, have free banking. Well, they get their fees through other things, right? And then do you get free investing? Well, maybe you're only
social media.
Yeah, you're the yeah, never mind. Ugh, okay.
I am the product.
Thanks.
Yes, I know
yeah,
that.
You're a product.
I know that.
Yeah, a piece of product. Okay, so but if you quote want to pay nothing, you have restricted funds you put it in, and those ones give money for what people are investing. So this idea that some things are free lunches and other things aren't, there's definitely go out there, go to market and find something that fits you the best way possible. And there are some providers that are better for startups with smaller balances than large plans, with larger balances. There is a certain amount of, if you don't want to pay any fees at all, you can go to different products. But the funny thing is that in 401k plans, you can get institutional prices too. So sometimes you're getting cheaper investments. So
less expensive investment.
Less expensive. Well, cheaper and less expensive are close. Okay, so this whole idea that it's all a scam. If you're treating them all exactly the same when they're not exactly the same, you haven't done your due diligence to find a good place to put your money, then it all seems screwed up,
the thing
right?
that really bugs me about this particular posting here is this person is an employer. By default, they're the fiduciary of the plan, and they're talking about hidden fees. They're talking about engaging service providers and not knowing what all the fees are. This person is admitting to violating their fiduciary duty, which is kind of funny to do on Reddit, okay? How does this 401k scam work?
First, I already know it's a scam.
Okay, wrong.
That's not why I'm here. I'm just wondering how someone makes money from this scam.
Wrong.
A friend of mine, actually a friend, not me, got a job offer.
Of course. I'm asking for a friend.
I'm asking for a
How
friend.
does the scam work for a friend?
Got a job offer and accepted it. During the onboarding process, they told her she had to take part in their 401k. She already had one and was close to retirement already, so she declined. They told her if she didn't participate in their 401k, then she would not get the job. She asked if she could just roll over her existing 401k to them, and they told her no. I'd like to also point out this is during the onboarding process and not 3+ months later like most businesses. I know enough to know what they're telling her is 100% BS. Again, I'm not asking if it's a scam. I'm just wondering how this is profitable to the no good employer. How does it work?
Be calm, Tipper. All right. What we have, you got the bleep button ready? Okay. So the 401k plans are not the bullshit here. The employer is the bullshit. I got to imagine that this employer has payphones at the company at the employees' desks. You probably have coin-operated toilets. Okay, seriously, they probably have a coin-operated water fountain. All right.
So he's saying if the employer's this bad, walk away.
Well, this has got nothing to do with 401k plans because nothing in here is true. Well, almost nothing in here is true, okay? This is not a conversation about whether or not a 401k plan is good. This is a conversation as to what kind of asshole this employer is. It's as simple as that. Now, how are they making money on this? I have no idea what kind of potential prohibited transaction they're engaging in. Who knows? Because we don't know the industry or anything like that, okay? It is theoretically possible. It is theoretically possible that the plan does not allow rollovers from other annuities, IRAs, or 401k plans. That's not a scam part. That is an employer just wanting to keep it exceedingly simple and very basic and very vanilla. That's neither good nor bad. That's just trying to keep it no hassle.
There could be auto enrollment, but you can opt out of it.
Right, because you can't. So the thing is, the other part that really frosts me about this is you're a participant in the plan simply by meeting the age and service requirements. Whether or not you have an account balance does not make you a participant or not a participant, all right? Having a beneficiary designation form completed does not make you a participant or not participant. It makes you a smarter participant or a dumber participant, okay? But you're still a participant.
There we go.
Are 401ks a waste?
So today at work, my coworker and I were talking about 401ks, and he does not believe in them and that they are a waste of time.
Okay, so when did 401ks become a belief system? I thought it was a tax code, but that's me. Okay, keep going.
He explained to me why and shared this article with me, and I would say it explains really well how it is a waste.
Okay.
My coworker says real estate is the way to go
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
and hasn't put a cent into his 401k. To my understanding, he has his own home, one long-term rental that covers and gives some cash flow, and 2 short-term rentals that supposedly can bring 3x the mortgage on each property on a good month.
On a good month. Okay?
Your guys'
What about a
thoughts?
bad month?
Is a 401k a waste? Is the great money-making info I researched a lie?
Is a 401k better than a slumlord? Depends on your ethics.
Ray 725, go back and see what people were doing with real estate, okay, in 2008 and 2009. Then re-ask your question. Now then, I want to ask you a question here, Ray, all right, if that's your real name. If you need to liquidate your 401k plan today, yes, it's going to take a couple of days to get the money, et cetera, 2-3 days, all right? But does your 401k plan's account balance, is it reduced in any way because you need to liquidate it today? What's the answer to that question? The answer to that question is
No.
no. If you have a piece of real estate worth $200,000 and you need to sell it today and get cash on Monday, are you going to get $200,000 for it? No.
Not even close.
Okay. Not even close. Maybe pennies on the dollar. All right. So that's the problem with real estate. And then we've done so many videos of this. Okay. I'm going to be a little off on the exact numbers, but the ratios work. Okay.
Are they golden ratios?
I don't know.
Okay.
There are approximately 140 million adults or people of working age in the United States. There are currently approximately 120 million different residences. There are more working people than places to live. How do we all own real estate and rentals? Okay? How does that
start
work?
up your tiny home, mobile home part.
That's still a residence, dear.
I know.
Okay? That's still a residence. All right? So this idea that everybody needs to get into real estate because 401ks are a scam is such bullshit. Hit your beeper button. It really pisses me off because they don't understand basic math. Okay, so, but can every one of those 140 million people, can they have money in a 401k plan?
Yes.
Yes.
100%. Yes.
Does more people putting money in 401k plans make more money?
Yes.
Yes. So unpopular opinion. This person, proper use of premises. It must be a reasonable question. Okay.
Because
Unpopular
because
opinion.
they're in the middle class and they're stuck and they're pissed.
401k is designed to keep you middle class.
What do you guys think of the 401k? Other than the company match, is there a good reason to get 401k? It locks up your cash for a subpar 8% return and delayed tax bill. You could potentially buy a business and invest in better yielding investments if you don't put your money away in a 401k.
Sponsored by U.S. Franchises Association. Well,
I'm sorry, whatever your name is, but this is perhaps the dumbest question I've heard related to fire. I'm sorry. Okay, you could buy a... Filippo, what did you say for the last post?
You can put away as little as $10 in your 401k.
So what kind of... You can't buy a paper route for $10 a paycheck. Okay? What?
but
Jesus.
isn't this okay? So this whole idea of keeping everybody in the middle class, we've just read some articles where there's more 401k millionaires than
We're
there
getting
ever
to that
have
in a
been
sec.
there.
We're getting to that in a second.
Well, I thought
Katie. Okay,
that's
yeah. No, we're getting right to that in a second. I love this. I love this phrase. It locks up your cash for a subpar 8% return. Okay. I thought that was pretty good. Year over year over year over year over year. All right. Now then, Okay. So you've got Roth. You've got pre-tax. Okay. The big difference between having money inside a 401k plan and money in just a regular retail account is that when your 401k plan throws off dividends, let's say your 401k plan throws off $1,000 in dividends, okay? Does that $1,000 go back into your 401k plan? Yes, okay? If your retail account throws off $1,000 in dividends, do you get $1,000 in dividends net? No. Unless you go and make some losses, because that $1,000 is taxable income that year. All right. So at the end of it, you've got more money that you're going to have to pay taxes on it, but you're going to have more money in your 401k plan than a similar retail account, because with the retail account, you have to be paying taxes whenever you have a gain, a realized gain, or an income interest payment or a dividend. Okay, you don't have to pay taxes on unrealized gain. As of the third quarter, there were 654,000 401k millionaires at the brokerage Fidelity.
so that's
The
one.
highest level
one
in
place.
records going back to the early 2000s. This is around 3.2% or more than 3 million accounts tracked by benefits provider Alight had balances above $1 million as of the third quarter. That's double the figure than at the end of 2022. And at T. Rowe Price, roughly 2.6 of the participants had balances over $1 million, up from 1.3% at the end of 2022. For the first time, half of private sector workers are saving in 401k plans, which allows workers to invest money directly from their paychecks without subtracting income taxes up front. Many of those accounts are also more tied to the stock market than ever before, with workers in their late 30s allocating roughly 88% to equities. That's got to be because of target date funds, and this is up from 82% according to Vanguard. Katherine, would you like to bring us home?
Sure. If you want us to review your 401k plan for potential errors and opportunities, sign up with the link below. Also, click on the link below to find our other video channels and podcasts.
More than one.
Or if you have specific questions about your plan, just email us at sales@hunterbenefits.com.
And you understand the rest of the assignment. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends and neighbors about us, but most importantly, don't forget to keep those cards and letters coming.